I'm going into ninth grade. For my project, I built a smart garden and watering system. Basically, it uses 3 different sensors, a moisture sensor, humidity sensor, and a temperature sensor to determine whether the climate and the plant is doing well and to water it. I obviously don't have it connected to any water because electronics and water, not a good idea when you're presenting. So it also has a DC pump in here. So you'll hear it turn on in a second because it's not in the plant. It's a very aggravating noise. So the LCD on here basically displays all the data from the 3 different sensors. In order, and then also I wrote an algorithm so it's able to determine whether it is actually a good environment or not. All these sensors basically work on the same principle of variable resistance. So this sensor is the moisture sensor for the plant. It basically is 2 prongs outputting power, and it basically determines the amount of resistance between the 2, and that's how it can tell how much water it is. I had a lot of challenges during this, especially using jumper wires. They're very flimsy and sometimes canaf, and when you're doing an intense project, it's very complicated, and sometimes one wire comes out and you have no idea. So always quintuple check your project. So I also used a motor driver on here to tell the pump when to turn on, but I also had to use a power adapter, which was a little bit of a shame because I wanted to use a battery, but the pump requires more power. Yeah. So I also, for my code, I used a bunch of libraries, which are basically just scripts written online that different people have created to help. Yeah, thank you. Anyone have any questions?
With the resistor, when the soil is more moist, is that more resistance or less than dry?
So right now, what it used to do is it output a data of 0 to 1023, and then basically it's the less resistance. So the number goes down the more water that's there. So basically what I did for the data on the screen, it's 0 to 100. So I use the Arduino's remap function, which basically just converts the data into what I want it to look like.
So what kind of practical effect is that? Is this something that actually on a bigger scale like farmers use, or is there like a real life application?
Yeah, so there are a lot of farms also, more like interior farms. People do this in like big warehouses. They also do it in big fields where they use certain plants as testers and they water the whole field based on those tests. So it's a very practical concept and it's actually done on a larger scale.
Thank you.
And,
Is there like some sort of range that determines whether or not something needs to be watered, or I guess?
So, I mean, it depends upon the plant, but basically, right now, I have it just set to a generic value, and personally, I need to, in my next few days, I'm going to do a little bit of research, because I don't really know. The value on here is basically dependent on how much water there is, so I really need to figure out what the perfect amount is.
Do you want to give us a big takeaway of the time at Bluestone?
Yeah, so I learned a lot here. I really actually came in with no knowledge, but like, I figured stuff out pretty quickly. Good.
Pretty good.
I enjoyed that.
Thank you.